and welcome. If you have been dreaming about the perfect project to knit next, then look no further than this absolutely beautiful pattern by Monica Wesley. This design is called SLIPDREAM, and it is an absolutely radiant pattern. When I first saw this design, I literally gasped out loud. I was like, oh my gosh, it is so beautiful. It's got these beautiful contrasting colors. It has such an elegant flow and drape, and it's a really wearable shape. And just all of that, plus the cute little tassels, I love them so much. All of that just combines to make such a gorgeous piece. It really reminds me of a beautiful, dreamy sunset that just is splashing pinks and reds all across the sky. This amazing piece is a symmetrical triangular shawl that uses just 3 skeins of yarn and 3 repeating stitch sections. This design has a slipped garter section. It's got beautiful slipped honeycomb stripes, and then this lovely 2-color mosaic section, which you can see here and here, and I love how it looks really different depending on which colors you choose. All of these gorgeous sections are made primarily using knits, purls, and slip stitches. I know, it is so amazing. Don't you just love designs that look really complex, but in actuality, they are quite simple to produce. The pattern also includes these adorable little tassels, which I love so much. They look so cute when you're wearing your shawl. And we do have a video on how to make tassels, so we'll go ahead and link below to that for you. This pattern uses 3 colors of our Amal fingering weight yarn, which is a beautiful draping, glowing blend of baby alpaca, linen, and silk. It is our first linen blend yarn, and I think you're gonna love it so much. The linen actually provides a little bit of a heathered effect because the linen doesn't dye the same as the other fibers. And then it's got a gorgeous drape from the baby alpaca. And then of course the silk gives it just a little bit of sheen. You can download this pattern at expressionfiberarts.com. It does include both the written instructions for you as well as charts. Yay! We'll leave a link to the pattern and the yarn in the description box for you. Today I'll be demonstrating the first few rows of each section. If you can work the first few rows, you can work the rest of the pattern as they primarily repeat from that point. This pattern starts with a garter tab cast on, and if you're unfamiliar with that, we do have a video on how to create that, so head to the description box and click the link to watch that video. Once you've completed your garter tab cast on, you're going to move into the first garter slip stitch section. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Once you have your garter tab cast on, I've just cast on 13 stitches today for the demo. We're going to go ahead and start with row 1 of this section. So to begin, you're going to knit front and back. Knit into the front of that first stitch and into the back of it. So there's an increase, and now a yarn over for another increase. Now you're going to knit across to your first stitch marker. When you get to that first marker, you're going to yarn over, slip the marker, knit 1, slip the marker, yarn over, and then knit across till your last stitch. When you have 1 stitch left, you're going to increase again with a yarn over and another knit front and back. That's how you work row 1. Let's go ahead and turn and work row 2. This is a nice easy row. You're just going to knit to that first stitch marker, and those stitch markers are showing you where the center of the shawl is. They hover right around that center stitch. Slip that first stitch marker when you come to it and purl that center spine stitch. Slip the next stitch marker, and then you're just going to go ahead and finish off that row by knitting every stitch all the way till the end. And that will complete row 2 for you. Go ahead and turn, and let's start on row 3. We're going to do some more increases with a knit front and back and another yarn over. Now we're going to work knit 1, slip 1 with yarn in back, and we're going to slip purlwise. Make sure your needles are kissing each other because they love each other so much. slip it with your yarn in back. And this is really important to pay attention throughout the pattern if your yarn is in the front or back. You're going to continue repeating that till you reach your stitch marker. Knit one, slip one purlwise with yarn in back. Knit one, slip one. Knit one, slip one. When you reach that first marker, you're going to go ahead and yarn over and then slip the marker. Knit one, slip your marker, yarn over, and then repeat across to the last stitch, slip one with the yarn in back, knit one, slip one with the yarn in back, knit one, slip, knit, slip, knit. And when you do reach that final stitch, you're going to go ahead and increase with a yarn over and another increase by a knit front and back. All right, now let's do row 4. For row 4, you're going to go ahead and start with a knit 2, 1 and 2. Now you're going to bring your yarn to the front and slip one purlwise. Then take your yarn to the back and you're going to knit one. And repeat that all the way across till you get to your first stitch marker. Slip one with yarn in front, knit one. Slip one with yarn in front, knit one. And I do like to actually say it as I do it to help me make sure I'm getting it correct. Slip one with yarn in front, knit one, slip one with yarn in front, and knit one. When you reach that first stitch marker, you're going to go ahead and slip it, and you're going to purl that center stitch. Then slip your next stitch marker, and you're going to knit one, bring the yarn to the front to slip one, and repeat that to the last 2 stitches. Knit one, yarn to the front, slip one. Knit one, yarn to the front, slip one. Knit, yarn in front, slip. Knit, yarn in front, slip. When you get to those final 2 stitches, you're just going to knit those 2 stitches. And it should be looking like this. Next up is the slipped honeycomb stripe. So let's go ahead and get started on that section. For the honeycomb section, we're going to start with row 1, and you're going to begin with a knit front and back to create an increase. And then a yarn over for another increase, and go ahead and knit to the first stitch marker. When you reach that, you're going to yarn over, which is another increase, slip that marker, knit that middle stitch, slip the next stitch marker, yarn over, and then you're going to go ahead and knit across to the very last stitch. Finish off that row with a yarn over, knit front and back. Let's turn and work row 2. You're going to start this row with a knit 2, 1, 2. Now you're going to repeat across the row till you get to the first stitch marker. Knit 1, slip 1 with yarn in back. Knit 1, slip 1 with yarn in back. So you're going to repeat that until you have just 1 stitch before your marker. Then you're going to go ahead and knit that stitch, slip your stitch marker, purl that center stitch, slip your stitch marker and knit 1. Then you're going to repeat across until you have 2 stitches left. Slip 1 with yarn in back. See, it's very important where your yarn is. Slip 1 with yarn in back. That was a knit. Slip 1 with yarn in back, knit 1. Slip 1 with yarn in back, knit 1. When you get down to the final 2 stitches, you're just going to knit those. 1 and 2. Let's go ahead and move on to row number 3. Now you will be changing colors, and you can just pull your colors up the side of the shawl if you like. I'll just continue using the same color. You're going to knit front and back to start this row off, and then work a yarn over, and you're going to knit to your first stitch marker. Nice and easy. When you get to that first marker, Before you slip it, you're going to work a yarn over and then slip that first stitch marker. Knit that center spine stitch. Go ahead and slip your stitch marker and then work another increase by creating a yarn over. Now you're just going to simply knit to the final stitch. Boom, boom, and boom. And then work a yarn over, a knit front and back. And let's go ahead and work row number 4 and see how that goes. You're going to begin row 4 with a nice and easy knit 2, 1 and 2. Now you're going to repeat across to your stitch marker, knit 1, slip 1 with yarn in back. Knit 1, slip 1. Knit 1, slip 1. Knit 1, slip 1. When you reach your stitch marker, go ahead and slip that. Purl that middle stitch. Slip your stitch marker. Then slip 1 with yarn in back. Knit 1. All the way across till you have just 2 stitches left. Slip 1 with yarn in back. Knit 1. Slip, knit, slip, knit. And then you're going to finish off by knitting those final 2 stitches. You should be getting something similar to this. Now I'm going to show you how easy it is to get started on this beautiful 2-color mosaic section. All right, we're going to start with row 1 of the mosaic section, and I'm going to use the pink color for color 3 according to the pattern. And I'm going to start with a knit front and back, yarn over, and then you're just going to knit to your first stitch marker. When you reach that first stitch marker, you're just going to go ahead and work a yarn over, slip your marker, knit that center spine stitch of your shawl, slip the next stitch marker, yarn over, and then knit to the final stitch. When you get to the final stitch, you're going to finish with a yarn over, a knit front, and back. And that's row 1. Using the same color for row 2, we're going to go ahead and start with a knit 2, 1, 2, bring the yarn to the front, and then you're just going to purl until you reach that first stitch marker. When you do reach that first stitch marker, you're going to go ahead and slip it, purl that center spine stitch, slip your next stitch marker, and then purl across to the last 2 stitches. When you reach the final 2 stitches, just go ahead and knit those, and that will complete row 2. For row 3 of this section, we're going to go ahead and drop that first color and pick up color 2. And you'll begin this row with a knit front and back. Then you're going to work a yarn over and a knit 1. Now knit 3, 1, 2, 3, slip 1 with yarn in back, knit 3, 1, 2, 3, slip 1 with yarn in back, and knit 2, 1, 2. And you're going to repeat that across because you're going to have more stitches than me until you have 7 stitches left before your marker. I'm already there, so let's move on. Knit 3, 1, 2, 3, slip 1 with yarn in back, knit 3, 1, 2, and 3. Now you're going to work a yarn over, slip your marker, knit 1, slip that next stitch marker, yarn over. Now we're going to knit 3, 1, 2, 3, slip 1 with yarn in back, and knit 3 again. 1, 2, 3. Now you're going to repeat across your row, knit 2, 1, 2, slip 1 with yarn in back, knit 3, 1, 2, 3, slip 1 with yarn in back, knit 3, 2, and 3. When you have just 2 stitches left, you're going to work a knit 1, a yarn over, and a knit front and back. And you can see we're starting to get some color changes in there. I love it. For row 4, you're going to continue using the same color 2, and you're going to begin with a knit 2. 1 and 2. Now bring the yarn to the front and you're going to purl 2. 1, 2. Now you're going to repeat across, purl 3, 1, 2, 3, slip 1 with the yarn in front. So super important, make sure your yarn is in front when you slip that stitch. Purl the next 3 stitches, slip 1 with yarn in front, and purl 2. 1 and 2. And you're going to repeat that across until you have 8 stitches left before your stitch marker. I'm already there, so I'm going to go ahead and move on to purl 3, 1, 2, 3, slip 1 with yarn in front, and then purl 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Next up, you're going to go ahead and slip your stitch marker, purl that center stitch, slip the next stitch marker. Now purl 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then slip that next stitch with the yarn in front, and purl 3, 1, 2, and 3. Now you're going to repeat across until you have 4 stitches left. Purl 2, 1, 2, slip 1 with yarn in front, purl 3, 1, 2, 3, slip 1 with yarn in front, purl 3, 1, 2, and 3. When you have 4 stitches left, you're going to work purl 2, knit 2, and that will finish off row 4 for you. For row 5, you're going to drop this color you've been using and go ahead and pick up that first color and just pull it gently up the side. And you're going to start this row with a knit front and back, and then work a yarn over. Now knit 1, slip 1 with the yarn in back, and knit 1. Now we're going to repeat knit 2, 1, 2, slip 1 with yarn in back, knit 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, slip 1 with yarn in back, knit 1. Repeat that all the way across until 8 stitches before your stitch marker. And since I'm there, we'll go ahead and move on. Next, you work a knit 2, slip 1 with yarn in back, knit 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now you're going to yarn over, slip that stitch marker, knit 1, slip your marker, yarn over, knit 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you're going to slip 1 with the yarn in back, knit 2. 1, 2. Now the part that you repeat across is knit 1, slip 1 with yarn in back, knit 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, slip 1 with yarn in back, knit 2. 1, 2. You're going to repeat that all the way across until you get to your last 4 stitches, and then you finish off with a knit 1, slip 1 with yarn in back, knit 1, yarn over, and then knit front and back. And you can start to see our little design taking shape. And the pattern really is that simple. If you can work those rows, you can work the rest of the shawl. They're just primarily repeating those types of rows and stitches. And again, all the color change information, the charts, the full written instructions, and everything is available for you in the pattern PDF, so you can go download that. This shawl is so stunningly beautiful, and we think you're gonna absolutely love it. Thank you so much for joining me. Go out today and do some knitting, do some creating, and make sure to keep your dreams alive. You have them for a reason. All right, I'm going to see you next go around. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining me. Mwah, mwah. I love you.